Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to show you how the flow builder itself works, so you understand all the features inside, how you can build good quality chatbots, and how the different flow types work in combination with each other. So first of all, let's cover the basics of the flow builder first. So if we are entering any kind of flow, this is just a regular flow. I'm inside my Omni-Channel chatbot right now. But we have several options here. If we take a look, we have the send messages, where we can just send text messages along with a few other features as well. We have the question block, where we can get a input from the user and store it inside of a custom field. We have actions, where we can do all kinds of actions based triggers. Then we have conditions, where we can check several logic inside the chatbot related towards this user and then take action upon it. We also have a split module, where we can basically do some split testing or want to randomize certain features. We also have a send email block, where we can send an email directly soon as you integrate it with SMTP or Gmail. And we also have a go-to block, which basically has the meaning of sending the user to another flow or to another step inside the same flow. So let's head over to the send message part first. So if we go there, you will notice that you will have several items where you can choose from. Let me just drop my camera out of the way. So let me just put it right there, so it does not conflict. There we go. And now we have an add item. As you can see, if we just hover over the add item, we have a drop down with text, cards, rich media, where we can insert images, we can insert stickers, audio, video, file, and location. We have a for each step, which is a little bit more advanced to go through inside of this video, but this allows you to generate cards from a JSON custom field. And this is something we already recorded, and I will link towards this video at the end of this one. We also have others. And inside the Omni-Channel, you will see all the available options. So we have all the Facebook options like customer feedback, OTM request, daily notification request, weekly, monthly request. And then we have the send notification message along with the WhatsApp message template, single product and multiple products. And lastly, we also have the typing inside of the other step. Then we also have dynamic content. And basically you can get messages from an API request and send it. And again, this is a little bit more advanced, and we will go through these kinds of blocks in a later video. But do note that the dynamic content can be found here. Lastly, we also have an eCommerce section where we can just display products and also have the shopping cart options. So these are the blocks available inside of the send message block. If we go with a regular text, you will see that you can just type a text any way you like to. You will also see on the top of the text where all the available channels is supported, right? So this send message, send text block basically is supported for all these available channels. Now, if you want to insert a custom field variable or a system field variable, you can do it in two different ways. You can send two open curly brackets, and then it will open up the variables overview, and you can just type and then or search, right? What you could also do is just press the variables icon to the left of the text input. Here you will have all the fields available inside of your chatbot. You can also search, so if you want to search for a specific field, you can also do so. And you also have an emoji tab here, where you can just insert emojis, and the time clock basically indicates the most recent emojis that you used. We can also add a button under a text message. And if we do that, we have several options that we can proceed from. So if this would be a button, we can go towards the next step. And from the next step, you will see that we have several options to choose. We have a checkout. We have a direct buy button for Stripe. And if we check that buy button, we can basically give the button a title again. We can select a product or a custom product or any of the products that we set up inside of the e-commerce section inside of your workspace. You can give the item a name if it's a custom product. You can give it a price. You can give it an item description and item image. You can also require a billing address, right? So the user needs to fill in the billing address, and then you can continue to the next step. And you can get access to the payment details from the system field order. So soon as the order has been created, you will be able to access the system field order to enable you to grab all the information. Now, what you can do then is, soon as a person has bought, right, you can go to a next step. So this could be a confirmation message, and you will be able to continue towards the next step to another flow or inside the same flow, any way you like to. You can also go with, if we just go and delete the Stripe, you can also go with a PayPal buy button. Basically the same thing as the Stripe buy button, and it works pretty much the same way. We also have a Calendly link, which you can use. So if you integrated Calendly, you can use this directly. You can select your event type. So for me, I integrated something. So I could say 30-minute meeting. That's the only event I set up in my Calendly test. And then you can also continue to the next step when the appointment has been booked. And as you can see, you can get access to the appointment details from the system field Calendly. So as soon as a person booked, then basically you can connect and you will be able to grab all the credentials from that Calendly booking. So you can basically go towards the select custom field. If you go there, you will be able to go towards Calendly, and you can have all the different elements. You can map them and you can paste them inside of custom fields if you like to. So these are the ways that you can use the Calendly integration. There are several other ways, several other options for buttons. So if we take a look there, you can also direct a call towards a specific number. You can open a website. You can go towards any of the available blocks inside of this flow. So we could say send message. We can also go towards the question block. This inserts all these new kinds of blocks. So if we want to go towards an action block, you can do so as well. You can also connect towards an existing step. And as you can see, existing step is send message to. So if I do this, it automatically directs back towards send message to. So this automatically connects it. You can also rename each block, which makes it easier for you to identify certain blocks. So for example, this could be confirmation booking successful. And if we do this, we will see that if we go towards the block again, so if we go with the Calendly event type, you will see that you can go towards a next step. And now you will see under existing steps that you have a good indicator of the existing blocks inside of this flow. So now we have the confirmation booking successful, right? And this way you can just proceed the flow as you wish. So this is a simple text input with a button that has various supported types where you can proceed from. Now, if you want to go with a quick reply, you can also do so. So you have a quick reply option here. You can also enter a value for that quick reply option. So once that has been pressed, you can have a unique value if you like to. It's totally optional. And you can also save this value to a custom field if you like to. So if you have certain choices you want the user to make, you can map this to specific elements and inside of custom fields to store. The difference between a regular button and a option, a quick reply button, is that a regular button remains there even when pressed, and a quick reply button disappears soon as that button has been pressed. So if you have multiple quick reply buttons and a user chooses one of the options, then the quick reply buttons will disappear. So that's a good use case for some indicators. Instead of providing with a consistent button that they can press over and over again, you could also have some use cases where you only want the user to choose once and then basically remove all the available options from the previous step. And again, you can just connect a quick reply the same way you can connect towards a button by hovering over the open circle and then drag your left mouse with anywhere in the open field. So you can connect to existing blocks, or you can just release and then add a new step into it. You also have an option for dynamic replies, but basically dynamic replies will have you insert data dynamically from a JSON field. So let's say you have a Google Sheet, you uploaded the Google Sheet data inside of a JSON custom field, and now you can display that Google Sheet data inside of gallery cards. So let's say you have a Google Sheet, you are importing all the data inside of a JSON field, and from that JSON field you can pick a certain column, for example, that would be the topics for these quick replies. So that is something that you can do as well, but we will go more into depth about these kinds of features in a later video. If we take a look at other options, you can also insert cards. So if we go with a card, you can insert an image either by uploading it towards your computer. You can also upload it by URL. So if you have any images already on your website, you can just copy and paste the link address towards that image and it will show up here. You can also insert a GIF from the library, and you can just choose by either selecting one of the topics or just by searching for a specific GIF. So if we go with a board GIF, you will see the topics, all the topics from board popping up, and you can insert any of these that you wish to. So if we want to do a SpongeBob, for example, who is bored, you can do so really easily. Do take note that GIFs and short videos always have a time to load inside of the chat conversation, and the loading time is depending on the user's connection speed. So a user with a bad connection could have some confusion because the chatbot will not proceed before this GIF or video is being loaded in. So take that into account when building your chatbots. You can give your card a title, and you can give your card a subtitle, basically a short description. From here you can also give your card a button if you like to, and then you can also select the next step. Let's press save for now. And if you want to add a new card, you can just press the plus sign towards the card overview. If you press it, then a new card will pop up and you will see that you can now insert a new card with the image, the title and subtitle. A total of 10 cards are available at one given moment in time. If you want to delete a card, you can just hover over the card that you wish to and just press the small X icon to the top right of that card. If we take another look, we can also insert rich media, basically images, stickers, audio, video, a file or a location. So these are the ways that you can use the rich media files. The for each step is a little bit more advanced as mentioned, so we will get into that in a more detailed video specific on that topic later on. You also have others as mentioned, and inside the Omni-Channel you have a lot of options. For example, you have the customer feedback. If you created a topic, you can give it a title, you can give it a subtitle, and then once you go and press the button Rate Experience, you will be able to select the feedback topic that you created inside of your menu previously. So for example, I have no previous data, as you can see here, so I will need to create a feedback topic. If we take a look at other items, then you will also have OTN requests, so one-time notification request, where you can give a topic. And if you don't have a topic, then you can also create one right on the spot, as you can see here. So if I say demo and click on the demo below that, then this topic will be created. You can give yourself a text, and then a user can press the notify me button, and you can connect this to a confirmation step that the user signed up. Same goes with the recurring messages, basically. So if we take a look at the recurring messages, basically the daily notifications, weekly notifications, and the monthly notifications work exactly the same way. So if you have a daily notification, you can select your topic or create one right on the spot. You can have an image with the recurring notification, your text, and then have get daily messages being sent towards that user. Once opted in, you can just connect it to a confirmation message again. If we scroll down, you will also have WhatsApp message templates that you can do. In a WhatsApp message template, you can send a message towards a WhatsApp user outside the 24-hour window. You have a single product, you have a multiple products that you can do, and you have typing. If we insert typing, you will see that you have two options. You can first select the number of seconds, up to 10 seconds, and you can either switch between typing, or if you press the drop down, you will be able to also enable waiting. So this way it will not show the typing emblem, but it will just wait for this particular duration. If we head over to the rest of the items available inside this send message button, send message block, then we also have the dynamic content, which we will get into as said in a later video, and we have the e-commerce settings. So we have the products tab, where you can have display the top best selling products, but you can also edit this by pressing the button, and from here you can go with any limit number of products. You can sort by best selling, by product name A to Z, or the other way around, highest price, lowest price, newest, or oldest one. You can also have an image ratio, so if you want to do horizontal or square, you can do so as well. And you can have a filter, only all products or products match all conditions, and then you can set up a condition. And you can set up multiple conditions, as you can see. If we go towards the e-commerce and the shopping cart, you will see that you will be able to have the display the top best selling shopping cart products. If no products are matched, then you can also connect to a separate step, right? So that is something that you can do as well. If we head over to the action tab, so for example, someone confirmed that booking, they booked an appointment or they purchased a product, you might want to do some actions based on that. So if we connect this to a next step, you can go with an action block. With an action block, you will have several actions that you can do. So first of all, you have the basic options where you can choose from. You have the add tag, the remove tag, the set variable, basically setting a value inside of one of your custom fields. You can also clear the custom field, or you can clear all the custom fields of that particular subscriber. You can also do a JSON operation, and this is a little bit more advanced as well. But you can always hover over the feature and then watch the video. So if we say watch video, it will pop open the tutorial that we prepared for you. And you can see how it works, but we will get into more detailed tutorials about each individual section later on. Under the basic options, you also have the subscribe to a sequence, unsubscribe, subscribe and unsubscribe from a bot. You can set the email opt-in, the email opt-out, SMS opt-in. You can mark the conversation as open or as done. You can also delete the bot user or talk to a human and pause the automation. Under the advanced actions, you will have external requests, and basically this will allow you to set up API calls with third-party platforms. You have a lot of API types that you can choose from. So we have get, post, put, delete, patch, head, and options. To the right of this API type, you can insert your API URL. Then you can have several tabs like URL parameters if you need them. You can also insert the headers, of course, which you will most likely need to. You have the body, where you can choose to have no body. You can have multiple form data body. you can have XWWW form URL encoded. And you also have raw body, where you can choose from JSON, text, JavaScript, HTML and XML. So you will see that each body you can choose and then write your body content right there. Unique to UChat is also the authorizations tab, which makes it a little bit easier to insert your API tokens and such. So if we take a look there, instead of going towards the header, we have some basic authentications already set up for you. So we have the basic authentication, the digest authentication, and the bearer token. So if you choose any of them, as you can see here, you will be able to just insert the values needed, and then you will be set and good to go. And of course, you also have the response tab, where you will see, if you want to test the response, to see the values, and you can map the values as well. Again, this will be displayed in a later detailed video on how external requests work. But for now, know that you can do API calls to third-party platforms by using this external request block. You also have smart delays, and smart delays are basically waiting blocks, and you can wait in either seconds, minutes or hours. You can also set the continued time limit between a specific time interval to not annoy the user during their nighttime. And you can also set the delay type. So you can have duration, you can also have a specified date and time, or a dynamic date and time. If you choose dynamic, you can use a custom field to your own liking that you set up previously, and you can use that as well. If you use specified date and time, you can pick a date and time from the calendar overview, and then the message or the delay will proceed towards the next step. You also have a JavaScript function, and this is pretty unique to UChat as well. Not that many chatbot building platforms have this feature, but you can build JavaScript directly inside of UChat. This allows you to save a lot of time by building the scripts directly inside of UChat, instead of needing to go and call your server and run the JavaScript there. You have several libraries to choose from. If you want to choose any of these, you can do so as well, which will make it a little bit easier to write the JavaScripts as well. This may be considered a little bit more developer-like, but it allows you to do a lot of automations using JavaScript inside of your chatbot directly. You also can set the language to pretty much any language that you preset. Then we also have the set persona, where if you created a persona for the chatbot, you can do so. You have the user menu, and you can trigger a workflow. You also have the integrations tab, where you can basically connect to any integration that you connected previously. So if you have any integrations, you can do so, and also the mini apps will show up that you connected and installed inside your workspace at the bottom of this integrations overview. You can also send notifications towards admins or towards yourself, and use any of the available notifications we have right now. So we have the email, the Slack, the SMS, the phone call, the WhatsApp, and the Telegram notifications. And we also have e-commerce settings. So we can get products, we can add to cart, we can remove from cart, we can empty the cart, apply a discount code, we can mark the cart as paid, we can update the order status, or we have a Stripe and PayPal checkout URL that we can use. So these were the actions available. So besides the actions, and we actually skip this, we also have a question block. And a question block lets you store the information of a user inside of a custom field of your own choosing. We also have a lot of types that you can choose from. So we can have a regular text input, we can have a number, we can have an email input, we can have a URL input, a phone, a date time, we can have a multiple choice, we can have locations, and we can have rich media, like requesting an image, an audio file, a video file, or just a file itself. So these are the things that you can do, and if you choose any of them, so you can enter the question itself inside the text overview, you can save it towards a particular custom field where you can save the response from the user. You can also give options, so you can give dynamic answers, and you can also add a skip button if you like to. You also have a no input field, which you can set to let this user input expire after a particular moment in time. So you can set it to hours, you can set it to seconds, or you can set it to minutes to prevent the user from getting stuck inside of this question block. If we go towards the conditions, you will see that you will have a lot of conditions. Basically, condition allows you to build some logic inside of your chatbot. So if we take a look and press the add condition group, you will see that if we go towards the conditions tab, you have the tag where you can check for a user that has a specific tag or does not have a specific tag. You have sequence subscription, you have notifications topics, you have the email sent, delivered, opened and clicked. You have the channel of interaction on Omni-Channel, this is a condition. Opted in for email, opted in for SMS, opted in for a specific date, or opted in date for minutes ago. You also have last seen, last interaction. You have a lot of conditions that you can use to build a specific logic inside of your chatbot and depending on your use case. So there are a lot of options to choose from. You can go through of these yourself. But it is pretty handy to know that you can use these conditions to build specific logic inside of your chatbot. If we go towards the next step, we'll also have a split module. And the split module allows you to either randomize certain input, but you can also choose this split module to test which version, which funnel provides a better conversion, for example. To add a variant, you can just press the button. And from this, you can add another split test and just make sure that the total number is always adds up to 100%. So if we go with 50 and 50, we can easily do so. But we can, for example, say if we want to have more traffic towards the top split test, then we can do so as well. So for example, if we say 75 and the other should then be 25, we can do so as well. So you will see a good reflection of this inside the split module itself if we zoom in. So more traffic will go towards option A in this case instead to option B. We also have a send email block where you can send an email directly from your chatbot using either one of the SMTP profiles connected or one of your Gmail accounts. You can also set it to randomized verified SMTP profile, which allows you to randomize the different email addresses, preventing if you send a high volume of emails on a daily basis. This could also prevent you from landing up in the spam or get your email blacklisted. You can also choose from the email templates if you like to. So if you prepared an email template in advance, you can of course select this template instead of writing your own email instead. So you can go with an email subject, you can go with a pre-header, you can go with a headline, a text, an image and a button, and you can even add attachments inside of the email. You can also have an option for when this email is first opened or each time that the email has been opened, as you can see here. That will reflect inside of this block where you will see when email first time opened, you can connect this to a specific module. For example, if you want to get notified when the email is opened for the first time, you can do so and maybe follow up with this user through live chat instead. Lastly, inside the flow builder, you also have a go-to block. And a go-to block allows you to either go towards a new subflow, or you can connect to any of the existing steps inside of this particular flow. So this allows you to do a shortcut basically. So if we want to redirect back towards the question, then you will see that we will go to this question block, which we have right here. But you can of course also go towards any of the new flows that you set up as well. You can also choose to create a new subflow or a new workflow on the spot as well, which saves a little bit of time. So this was the overview of the flow builder. We'll create a flow shortly to allow you to see some options available. But first, I wanted to show you the different kinds of flows that we can create. So if we go towards the left-hand menu, go towards flows, you can create a new subflow by pressing the top right button. If we do so, we can either do a regular flow, we can do a workflow or a function flow. A workflow is basically a back-end task flow where you can set up several kinds of automations, like adding a tag, like doing an API call, without interfering with the conversation that you have with the user. If you build those API calls directly inside the flow with the user itself, it could mean that the user will end up waiting until this API call has been made. But with the workflow, you can trigger the workflow to do the API call or do the automations in the back end, and just proceed with the conversation that you have with your user, which provides a much smoother experience. A function flow basically allows you to build a flow to prevent repetitive tasks. So every time you want to ask for an email that comes with different kinds of flows inside your chatbot, you can just create one flow and just send the user towards this flow. Once this flow has been completed, you can send the user back to the previous flow by just have an output block. And more about these types of workflows will be shown later as well, or you can follow along in the basics course, but we will get into this more detailed later on. For now, let's just build a basic flow. Once you have a new flow started or created, you always end up with this starting step. You can connect this starting step towards the next step by hovering over the open circle and just click and hold your left mouse button and just release it inside the open canvas. From here, you can just choose a new step. So let's say we're just going to welcome a new user. We can rename this block. So let's say welcome new user. You can also provide a note. So if you want to have more details of what this block does to work together with other chatbot builders or with your team members, then you can also do so inside of this note overview. But let's just add a simple text. Let's say something like, hey, first name. It is great to see you here. You can also insert some emojis, so let's do that as well. Let's add a typing delay of, let's say, 2 seconds. So we could say something like this as a welcome message. So it is always good to set the tone of the conversation, so let the user know that messages are automated, because a lot of people expect to have a business be there in live chat 24/7, and that's just not the case. So be sure to mention that the messages are automated, or create a personality around your chatbot, like, hey, I'm Gary the chatbot, right? And this way users know what to expect. Let's add a button. There we go. And actually, let's add towards this text message, and let's make this basically a consent button, right? So soon as they press the button, they consented to receive messages from us. So if you're okay with this and like to continue, press the button below to get started. So the next step is when they press the button, we could add a tag towards this user, towards an action block. So let's say we are going to say this action block contains adding a tag, and I already created the tag, but if we go towards add item, basic actions, add a tag, we can create also tags on the spot. So if you don't have a tag, you can also create one directly on the spot. But let's say this is a tag that the user consented to receive messages from us. And then we can continue anywhere we like to. So we could go with a question block, asking some information from the user, right? So ask a question. So what we could do is, for this question block, we could ask for the email in case we get disconnected from the chat. Then we also have an email that we can send a reply to if needed. So we can add an item towards this question block and go with an email. So we could say something like this. We can then save this response to a email system field, and we can also auto opt into email by just enabling this switch. Once they give their email, we can go and continue towards the next step. and we can give a confirmation message basically. So we could say something like confirm email, sign up. And we could say something like basically a short confirmation message, right? Then we could also do all kinds of things right now. So we could do a condition check, we can do a question block, we can add more questions towards this, or we can also do a split, right? So we could do a split like adding two variants, give it a 50 and 50% split. And inside this split, oops, need to enter it properly. There we go. And inside this split, we could go, for example, with one question or one option, and then we can go with another option to see what better converts at the end, right? So we can mark them as, so this way we can measure the performance of the chatbot and the funnels inside of the chatbot. So this could be a really simple flow that you can start off with by building just text blocks. You can add tags. You can ask some questions to gather information from this user. So if you want to ask multiple questions, you can do so as well. But always have a good conversation. It's not a form people need to fill in. It's also not an email that people need to respond. So make sure that the texts are short. And as you can see, texts are rarely above the 4 lines, right? So inside of this intro message, we have a little bit more. We have about 5 lines. But do not make the text too long to read, because this is going to be shown inside of a chat app. It could be Messenger, it could be WhatsApp, it could be Line, Telegram, whatever. But make sure that it's readable for a chat conversation. And also make it really conversational. So we give the user some information, they need to press the button to continue. We ask the user for some information through a question block, then we are going to reply to them and then head off towards the next step. So basically it happens the same as we would do a live chat, right? So we ask some questions, we get a response, we respond to the response of that user, and so on. So I hope this video helped you into understanding more about how to build flows inside the chatbot, how to build conversations inside the chatbot with this really simple example, and also show all the available options inside this flow builder. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We will also plan to do more of these kinds of in-depth videos to make sure you understand each feature to its fullest potential and be able to build amazing and optimized chatbots with UChat. For now, have a great day, take care, and talk soon.